Republic being the only channel to question Robert Vadra, who of course evades our questions on his links with Sanjay Bhandari, and his first response as his extradition has now been ordered by the UK court. I want to bring in my colleague Vidhan, who continues to get us the latest, and this also after Republic has accessed the exclusive copy of Sanjay Bhandari's extradition order. Rhythm, take us through the objective points. I believe Shavan is also holding a copy. He's joining us from the newsroom. Over to you, Shavan.
Well, in fact, let's just put out the 107-page court order that has now been accessed by Republic TV exclusively. This basically, puts together the arguments put forth by the Government of India through the Crown Prosecution Service, as well as the defendant, which happens to be Sanjay Bhandari himself. Remember, he's basically highlighted multiple cases, be it the case of Christian Michel, or for that matter, Chawla, the bookie Chawla, who was also extradited by the Westminster Court. Now, there are some important points that I would just like to put out for our viewers. In fact, let's just try and put that a copy of it right now. Page number 97 of the court order says that the Enforcement Directorate filed a motion to join the defendant's application with the motions of Vadra and Arora, an application which the defendant had actually opposed. The argument that has been put forth by Sanjay Bhandari's counsel through an application that was filed on 7th of May 2019. This is the application to join the defendant's application to those of Robert Vadra and Manoj Arora. Remember, the link between Robert Vadra and Sanjay Bhandari finds a mention not just in the Enforcement Directorate's charge sheet, but also in this 107-page Enforcement Directorate's this order that has been passed by the Westminster Court. Will basically take you through some of the details that we are getting in right now with regards to the charges that have basically been filed. The case that is against him. Now, some of the details, it basically starts with the tax evasion case. The tax evasion case that was registered by the Income Tax Department. Remember, searches were basically carried out, and soon after the searches that were carried out back in 2016 is when Sanjay Bhandari basically fled from the country. Now, this is what it says, and I'm quoting. It says the government's case that the defendant was an Indian resident at the relevant times, and as such his global income was liable to be taxed in India. It is alleged that the defendant had a number of companies not only in India but in various overseas jurisdictions. It is said through his activity the defendant acquired significant income outside India and acquired assets in overseas territories without making a disclosure of the same to the tax authorities in India. Suesha, in fact, if we can just put that out, if we can show our viewers the very page that I'm talking about, the order copy that we are showing you right now. We'll perhaps show the copy of the order on our screens in a short while from now. Let's just put that out as we put out more details of the order that has been passed by the Westminster Court. Now, in fact, this is what the Government of India, through the Crown Prosecution Service, had told the court. They say that a significant number of overseas undisclosed assets, both movable and immovable, had been acquired by Sanjay Bhandari, including deposits in bank accounts and overseas, shell companies and properties in UAE and United Kingdom between 2009 and 2016. It is alleged that we did this with the assistance of others. Funds were disguised in properties held through various offshore entities based in British Virgin Islands and Panama. In fact, they also say that there is an affidavit that has been filed by the government in which they have put out full details of the properties. In fact, while we also go across to our colleagues, Rhythm, who's going to also break down the order copy that we have accessed just a short while back, where the Government of India has also given the court full details of the properties, multiple properties that were acquired by Sanjay Bhandari in central London. We've also got details of those. Let's just try and put out the order copy on our screens right now, which gives you details of the number of properties. And I'm just going to quickly, we'll just try and show you. In fact, this is what the Government of India had to tell the court with regards to the properties that were basically purchased on your screens right now. That's the appeal that has been filed by the Enforcement Directorate, in which they say that one property in Palm Jumeirah in Dubai that was using profits earned through Santac International FC's C and Offset India Solutions. Also another flat in Borden Street in London that was also owned by a company that has been linked to Sanjay Bhandari. He's also the beneficial owner of another company called Sarah Dews Technologies, which was incorporated in UAE. The company had a bank account in Dubai. So you've seen another list that has been put out by the Enforcement Directorate in the Westminster Court is about a property in Branston Square, London. Now that's the property which the Enforcement Directorate basically suspects is the Benami property of Robert Vadra, and this was basically purchased through a holding company in lieu of consideration for the property. Now, these are some of the details that we are putting out right now. Let me also bring in our executive editor, Legal Rhythm, who's joining us on this broadcast. Rhythm, if you can just take us through some of the key takeaways from this court order that has now been accessed by Republic TV. What are the details that you can tell our viewers?
Absolutely. This is an exclusive on Republic TV where Shravan Sen has accessed the UK court order copy, a 107-page order which I was skimming through. It's very clear when it comes to extradition, viewers, these people, these fugitives will always be stating the same points. Whether it comes to the human rights condition, whether they want to say that our jails are not good enough, or whether they want to say that they will be harassed when they are back in India. Most of the arguments that have been given by Sanjay Bhandari's lawyers seem to be falling on this, because remember, they are trying to rely in a UK court that the Indian system will not be fine. So I want to first go across and make that point very clear. I also want to say that as, the breaking news that Shravan will just be giving us, there is a particular point that needs to be given, that assurances by the government had been made that Sanjay Bhandari will be at ward number 4, jail number 3 at Tihar Jail Complex in New Delhi. So, very crucial details are coming out in the 107-page order. And the second thing I want to pinpoint to you is how Robert Vadra's name also finds a mention in this. What is most important to remember is that the links that have to be drawn have to, of course, be drawn in the courts. But there is a certain property in Para 22, subsection D. It says that Sanjay Bhandari was confronted with certain documentary evidence of his ownership of certain foreign assets. And then, viewers, very, very crucially, even as today I want to, after this, go across to Piyush, who saw Robert Vadra last and tried to ask him questions, that the London property, Sanjay Bhandari admits the Vertex Management Holdings Limited had a property at 12 Ellington House, Bryanston Square, London, and that he purchased the holding company in lieu of consideration for the property. The payment was made, like Shravan was mentioning, in the bank account of Santec. This is the property in which structural changes were asked for by Robert Vadra to his secretary, and the entire email trail was with Sanjay Bhandari. But before that, I want to once again go back to Piyush and to that sequence that he put out, after which Shravan is going to give us more breaking news. Piyush, what was happening there? Did Vadra hear the question? Was he trying to be evasive, or did he simply just go away?
Well, actually, the very time when we broke this news, Robert Vadra was inside his office at Sukhdev Vihar area in national capital. And when we reached here, he asked his private guards to stop us from questioning him. And when he was leaving, we requested his guards, we requested his office to at least seek one comment of Mr. Vadra on the extradition of Sanjay Bhandari. We just wanted to ask few questions. What kind of links Robert Vadra had with Sanjay Bhandari? Did he have any kind of business links? Was he ever in know about the kind of tax evasion or the kickbacks which Sanjay Bhandari was receiving? But he, instead of replying to our questions, he decided to run away. We confronted him. We asked him when he came out of that particular building of his office. We asked him those particular questions. We asked him about the extradition of Sanjay Bhandari. We asked him if he had any kind of links with Sanjay Bhandari, but he did not reply to any of our questions. Rather, he decided to leave, to run from his office building to his house. But we kept on asking and he kept on avoiding our question. The point here is that why Robert Vadra is being evasive. In 2016, when Sanjay Bhandari was first time questioned, remember that he had flown from the country. In 2019, Income Tax was able to establish the links between Robert Vadra and Sanjay Bhandari. At that time also Robert Vadra kept mum. We confronted him in 2019 also when the links were established. But so far, Robert Vadra has not answered any questions. He has not told us about the kind of links which he had with Sanjay Bhandari. But now the day has come when Sanjay Bhandari reaches back here in country, in India. He will be questioned by the agencies. We just wanted to ask Robert Vadra if he will take part, if he joined the probe, because what we are learning from our sources is that most likely agencies are going to do a confrontation investigation when the Bhandari comes here, and in that particular investigation, most likely both the persons, be it Sanjay Bhandari or Robert Vadra, could be asked to present. There are multiple questions which Robert Vadra so far has to answer, but he has now decided not to answer any of the questions. The point here is that for how long he will run, he will sometime in the future have to come out and answer the questions and tell us about the kind of links which he had with Sanjay Bhandari. Once again, we confronted him here at Sukhdev Vihar area, but he decided not to answer. In fact, he instructed his security guards, private security guards, to stop us from not letting us to question Mr. Vadra. Rhythm.